I don't want my kids to be so comfortable on my payroll, period. There's no push. There's no reason for me to do anything more because mom and dad have got me covered. Whether I want to go shopping or whether I want to go out to dinner every day. No, I want my kid always wanting more and pushing for it. And that doesn't come with me constantly providing you with everything you want.
As you know, I participate in the parents groups. And this woman this morning left a comment, a question, what I think was the most entertaining thread that's been on this parent group, period. And it's parents of kids in college. Mm-hmm. So just to preface that. And so Kendallin says, I'm having a serious issue with my student not communicating with me, spending outrageously and running rogue. Anyone know who I can contact at the university for assistance? I'm hearing nothing they can do because she is 18. I saw that. I screenshotted it. I immediately sent it to you and to our friends, Keisha and Dwayne, who also have college-age freshmen. Mm-hmm. I put my phone down and picked it back up. There were 16 texts from you guys. Yeah. What do you hear when you hear that, when you hear this note?
A couple things. I hear a parent reaching out to other parents asking, how do we get the school involved in curbing my kids' spending? Mm-hmm. That's never going to happen. Mm-hmm. But just in terms of your curbing your own kids' spending, we can relate to that because, you know, we are having the same issue, not in a situation where he's not responding to us if we reach out to him, but definitely his spending has definitely kicked up. Like, there are a couple of times where I thought to myself, this boy really thinks money grows on trees. Like, right. We're just walking outside and picking it off the trees. And, you know, like eating out very often, but like you have the cafeteria, two cafeterias available to you at several times throughout the day, but somehow you're still spending cash on food. And then, you know, you see like random new things that he has. And in my mind, I'm like, well, I know he doesn't have a job, so those didn't manifest themselves. And then when he comes and he's like, hey, I need money. In my mind, I'm like, what could you possibly need money for? Like, we already know that you're being fed 24/7. And we know that we're sending you money for extra stuff. But like, how much extra stuff do you need during the month? So
yeah, he hasn't touched the wall yet.
There's new spending happening, yes. And it's definitely time for him. Like, he has not experienced the broke part of college that I know both you and I experienced. He hasn't hit that yet. And I feel like that's coming.
I agree on all points. I think that, you know, when he was home last time, we knew he'd shrunk his clothes.
Yes.
He hit us up after 6 weeks and said, I got to wear shorts all the time now because I shrunk my jeans. I mean, we knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And actually, he bought those jeans. So, like, you've been buying your own clothes for a while now, so I'm not all that mad. But when he came home, we took him to the mall.
Took him shopping.
I got 2 pair of jeans for him.
Uh-huh.
Everything else that came out of that mall, the other bags that came out, I felt like you were, like, just happy to have him back. And you said yes to the stuff that he wanted to buy. Like, it was...
I mean, you know, I'm happy. Like you said, he's been buying his own clothes. So, you know, he's not in a position... He doesn't have a job anymore. He's not in a position to go shopping. So it was like, okay, we're here. What else do you want? So I was fine doing that. I was fine doing that, knowing I'm not going to do it again. I'm not going to do it again.
My point was, I think that there's this discovery feeling that I saw on his face of like, I'm not going to say no if you're going to offer it.
Oh, yeah, that was definitely there.
Like, I'll get these 2 jeans, and that pretty much solves the need, right? But, yeah, you keep on asking me about these other sweatshirts and T-shirts and hoodies and stuff. I'm not going to say no, so I'm just going to take it. So he hasn't really experienced the hard pushback.
Not at all.
Because we haven't done it. Uh-huh. And so I hear this parent saying 3 things. I'm not getting communication from my kid, which is not cool.
Right.
Whatever going rogue is, which to my answer, that's what college is for. Like, what did you expect?
I totally agree with that.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the budget piece, which is interesting. And then the responses to her note were so fun and interesting. One, you know, a lot of parents came up with, turn off the debit card. They'll call you back
Turn
real
off
quick.
the faucet. Yeah. She will call you quickly.
Right. And I agree. Some of the people were like, well, you know, I think if you contact the RA, no, don't contact anybody.
No, I'm not contacting anybody. I'm just shutting it all down. and I
Right.
know I'll hear from you.
Or put a hard cap. Like, you don't want to turn all the money off, but like if there's a budget, I think that's an important piece. Is set a budget for what you're allocating cash wise to your child every month, because that makes sense. It's
Right.
reasonable to say, hey, my kid is going to need things that aren't covered by meal plan or by the dorm, and in advance, we as parents have said, this is the budget we're allocating for that. And
Yeah.
then there's enough technology that you can say, hey, I'm on the first of the month or whatever set day, I'm going to put some money into your account. Or you have an ongoing card, and that card has a limit.
Yeah. Those are the options that I like. I like the idea of they should have a card, right? He has a credit card, and it has a small limit. So it teaches him how to spend. We've never explore this option, but like some type of a card that, like, you say you put $200 on it, and for the month you have $200, and you can do what you will, but you're not getting any more money. That money doesn't get replenished until the first of the month next month. So it teaches you, these are the amount of days I have, this is the amount of money I have, this is what I can spend per day, period.
There's a key difference between those two approaches. I don't like the credit card idea.
Okay. Why?
The reason why is because the credit card idea says, like, I have a budget that I can spend, and it's $200 or $500, whatever the number is in your family. But it doesn't teach you how to save or accumulate money. You can never accumulate money. You can only either spend to the limit or under the limit. You can never say, well, March is coming up, and that's 4 or 5 months away, and I know I'm going to want to go somewhere, some type of spring break. I can now budget. I'm not going to spend my whole allowance, and I'm going to instead save $50, $100 a month, or whatever, to move towards that thing that I want really big down the line.
I like the idea of a low limit credit card for a college student because it helps them to build credit. So by the time they get out of college, they have established credit and they can use it for other things. You're definitely going to need it to get into an apartment, to purchase a car. So these are helping you to spend but also pay it back, and it's building credit. Now, in my mind, the credit card has to go along with a budget. You know, so like you've got the credit card, but you've also got, let's say your parents are giving you an allowance of $150, $200. Someone said $50. And I didn't hate $50 because she was like, she gets $50 a month. And then this inspires her and pushes her to, you know, create a side hustle, which she is doing and making her own money. I love that.
Yeah, it's particularly, this problem I think is only particularly a problem with freshmen. Before they become serious students. You know, when they're out there now, they're just experiencing freedom for maybe the first time. They're doing it amongst other students who are also experiencing freedom, and their budget might be greater than your budget. It's not, you don't come from the same place. You don't have the same scholarships. You don't have the same
Right.
expenses.
Right.
And so you might be hanging out with people who have deeper pockets than you or not. I find that when you get later in your academic career, and your goal then becomes, I'm going to wrap this up, and all this stuff kind of disappears. You realize that the importance is to be able to go long and survive the academic and financial rigors of an academic career. This problem kind of disappears once your student has opted into the game and said, I'm going to be a serious student. And that happens later on.
I hope that while it does disappear, it does reappear when you graduate from college, because now you are just in the next phase of your life, which is the adulting, the apartment, and the transportation, whether it's a car or it's public transportation, and it's, you know, budgeting for your monthly expenses, be that phone, groceries, whatever. What you're teaching them in college, they're most definitely going to use when they get out of college. So it's not something that they're only going to see, or an issue we're only going to have their freshman year. They have to get better at it.
Yeah. Now, being informed by the things you said, if I were to prescribe my response to this problem, kids not communicating, she's going crazy, whatever rogue means, and overspending, I would say back off, set a budget monthly. And in terms of the money piece, I do like the idea of a credit card, but I think I would say, hey, we're going to get you a low limit credit card, even if it's like a prepaid because you don't have any credit yet, with like a $500 limit. That's only to be used in case of emergency. So you never get stuck, broken down, and you're in your friend's car and you're out of town. You guys broke down. You have an emergency thing that you're not supposed to be spending on. And then I would say, for my approach to supplement that is, and you have a certain amount of money you know you're getting from home every month Doesn't have to be a lot, but that you can budget and save. Like underspend. It's to your benefit to
True.
underspend because it's your money.
True.
And that would be my take. In terms of the RA thing, nah.
No.
Let your kid go out and do college, man.
Yeah. Well, okay, so for any parent who's coming up on this issue, like maybe next year, what do you think is a good amount per month?
We did this talk, and your answer at that time was, do you remember your answer? Mm-mm. Your answer was $250.
$250. That's funny because right now in my head I'm like $150. I would say $150 maybe, and $150 might even be too much. I think we're expecting him to get a job next year, so $250 I think is too much, especially with the fact that he's got unlimited access to the cafeteria. He's not a person who shops every month. He wasn't when he was home. He wasn't when he had his own job, so he shouldn't be in college. I think $150 is enough.
He had a job before he left for college.
Yeah.
He was probably making something like, I'm going to make it up, $400 or $500 a month, working half time.
That doesn't even include his YouTube money.
Right. Well, he still makes his YouTube money.
Yeah.
He had a job. He left his job to go to college, but he also left his job early.
True.
Which I argued against.
Yeah.
So I would always be tempering how much money I gave him based on how much he made before. It'd be some fraction of that. And I would never become your job.
Oh, no.
You know what I mean? So you're going to have to work.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean like work a job necessarily. It could mean do really well in your business. You got a small business, run it.
Yeah. I think in my mind, I don't want my kids to be so comfortable on my payroll, period. There's no push. There's no reason for me to do anything more because Mom and Dad have got me covered. Whether I want to go shopping or whether I want to go out to dinner every day. No, I don't want that kind of kid. I want my kid pushing. I want my kid always wanting more and pushing for it. And that doesn't come with me constantly providing you with everything you want. Period.
And on my note of saying that I want you to work, I consider schoolwork work.
Absolutely.
If it's excellent, and applying for scholarships is part of that work. So you can make money in college. You can perform excellent academically. You can apply for scholarships, get your school paid for. You can have internships. This is exactly the route I had. Now, I did have scholarships. I had 3 jobs while in undergrad. Those were all academic based, mostly. I was working for the university. I was working for a company as a campus rep on the university, and I had some other job. They didn't compete with me academically. These were a result of me being academic. And during the summertime, I had my internships that were all based on me performing well in school.
Now, see, that's another whole conversation that we have to have when he gets home. Like during winter break, when you get back from winter break, it's time for you to start applying for internships.
True indeed.
Yeah.
Parents, let them kids live, but on their own money.
On a budget.